Have you ever been playing a game and thought, I wish someone would have told me this before? Well, that's what I'm here to do today. I'm going to share some tips and tricks that I've learned in Sunhaven that I wish I had known before I started the game and have helped me as I have continued to progress through it. Also, I'm going to need you to ignore the dog that's behind me, just chewing on some antlers. Let's get into it. All right, welcome to Sunhaven. Let's get into the first tip. So I wish I had known this at the beginning, but there's actually 3 main types of currency. You can see all 3 of them right here at the top. So obviously the coins are for Sunhaven, but you may not know this, but these are actually currencies for different towns. So the reason why I think this is important to know from the beginning is because you're going to start getting currency for the other towns before you have access to the other towns. So this right here is called mana orbs, and this is currency for Nelvari, and these are tickets that are currency for Withergate. So they don't matter a ton when you first start the game, but they're definitely going to matter later on. So just keep that in mind whenever you see those popping up in your inventory, that they'll matter later. Okay, so the next tip I have for you has to do with this little blue bar here down at the bottom. This is called mana, and this is one of those things that at the beginning I was like, oh, does that matter? Is it important? So I didn't really do much to try to build it up, and then once I realized that this is actually super important for when you start unlocking spells, which I'll go ahead and show in here, that you sometimes have the ability to unlock, like this is a spell that you're able to unlock and use, but it requires mana. So if you don't do anything to build this mana up, it's really going to bite you later. So do as much as you can up front to build it. Don't be like me, who gets angry all the time because she didn't do much and it runs out really fast. So make sure you build up your mana. All right, so welcome to my little tiny garden. So the reason I wanted to show you this is you may have been playing the game and realized that when you wake up every morning, there are tiny little dragons eating all of your crops. Yeah, those are seasonal pests and I hate them. So I wanted to show you something that I absolutely love. Oh, what's this? Seasonal pests? That means seasonal pests are on? That means seasonal pests are off. Yeah. You better believe that I turned that sucker off the second I realized what it did, because I wasted a lot of time building scarecrows to try to keep the little baby dragons away when it turns out all I had to do was hit that. So that's totally up to you whether or not you want to do it, but I recommend turning it off because I hate them. I hate crows in Coral Island and Stardew Valley, and I wish I could turn them off there. So from day 1, seasonal pests off. All right, tip number 4 that I have for you is, so the seasons are going to impact your crops differently. You'll notice right now here in the fall, there are these like vines that have grown up on some of my plants. And you may not always know how you're supposed to deal with this. It actually took me a bit to realize what I was supposed to do. When in doubt, use all of your different tools to try and figure it out. But chop it. That's all you got to do. Take out your axe and chop it. There's another one over here. So like in the summer, a lot of your crops will end up catching on fire. And all you do with that is you take your lovely little watering can and you can put it right out. The 5th tip that I want to share with you has to do with seasonal tokens. When I first started getting these, I had no idea what they were. I started the game, it was spring, and I kept getting all of these leaves. And I was like, what the heck are these leaves? I kept them because I saw that it said that they could be traded for wonderful seasonal rewards, but I didn't really know what that meant. So I'm going to show you what that means and where you're able to get rewards, because no one told me and I had to stumble my way into it. So we're going to ride right to the back where I can show you the stall where you can redeem stuff. So obviously it's fall right now, so we can only get different fall rewards, but you can see a lot of them are like really cool. You could get a fun fall friend ready to tag along on your adventures. Look how cute Russell is, or an owlbear whistle. I don't know what that means, but I like the sound of it. So make sure you keep your seasonal tokens, and when you are ready to trade them in, come here to Blossom. She'll hook you up. That's all you need to know about that. All right, welcome to Withergate Castle. The next thing I want to give you a little tip about has to do with the altar room. Now, if you don't like spoilers to games, just stop listening to me. If you don't care, I want to show you something that I wish someone had told me about when I first started this game. So this is Dynas's altar room. And basically to win the game, you're ultimately going to either, you can see it right here, choose to fight or make an offering. So essentially, to finish this game, you have to fill all of these altars. Like this is the mining altar that I already completed. So you can see like stone, coal, copper, sapphire, ruby, amethyst, diamond, havenite. So these are all things that I had to gather for the altar, but I didn't know about any of this. I eventually discovered there was a museum, and I hate it with a passion. But it would have been nice to know that I probably should have been saving for this altar room so that I can ultimately complete the game. All right, the seventh thing that I want to talk to you about are accessing the different mines in the game. As you can tell right now, I'm standing outside of the Sunhaven mine, but there are actually 3 different mines in the game. There is the mine here in Sunhaven, the mine in Nelvari, and the mine in Withergate, and they're all accessed in different ways. But the thing that matters so much, and I'm not kidding on this, is making keys. I kind of brushed that off at first. I was like, what does it matter? I don't need to make keys. Yes, you do. Making keys help so much because if you'll notice here, this is a locked gate. In the Sunhaven mine specifically, you can insert a rusty key and unlock it for that day only. Now to get a rusty key, you have to go through here and actually mine stuff, and eventually a rusty key will pop up and you can use it to go on. But the next day when you come back, everything you unlocked is closed unless you use a specific key. You can see here to continue on, I need to insert a mithril key to unlock it permanently. So to make a key, you're gonna need a lot of ore and a lot of coal to make those first few keys. But as you progress, like the mithril key and the sunite material, you are going to have to use fire crystals. So not coal on those, you're gonna need to use fire crystals. So I really recommend that you mine as much ore as possible, keep all of your coal, and don't get rid of fire crystal because that's gonna matter so much. Now, the thing that I want to show you with the other mines is you enter those differently than you do the Sunhaven one. You can just access the Sunhaven one from the very beginning. The other 2, that is not the case. So now I'm going to take you to the Nelvari mines. Here we are at the Nelvari mines, and I want to introduce you to Wilt. Wilt will tell you that only key people are allowed inside. Do you have a key? Well, I don't have a key right now, but you'll have the ability to offer an adamant key, a mithril, or a sunite key. Now, the ore that you need to make these keys, adamant, mithril, and sunite, are all in the Sunhaven mine. And as you progress further and further in the mine, that's when you'll get access to these. But you cannot enter this mine without one of these keys. Now, the other thing that I think matters a lot is once you enter this mine, get everything you can, because if you exit the mine, to get back in, you have to give another key. So make sure that you wait until you are ready to leave that mine before you go out the door. And in Withergate, I told you that I already completed this altar. When you do that, it gives you this lovely little mine key, which enables you to go into this mine in Withergate, but you can only access that after you've completed the mining altar. Just so you can get a little peek at the Withergate mines. The next thing that I want to talk to you about has to do with the museum. Now, as I've stated, I hate the museum. Welcome to the museum. It's pretty cute inside, but I still hate it. Now, the reason I brought you here is because I want to show you. I hate it so much. Like the fact that all of these, you have no idea what is needed for any of them. You have to walk up to each individual one and figure out what's needed. So as you can see right here, if something says it would look good in a museum, that means it would look good in this museum. Yes, I know. You are probably way smarter than me, and you understood that that meant there was a museum, and you found the museum. Well, I'm dumb. So, unlike you, I didn't realize there was a museum. I did try to keep things whenever I thought it said that, because I was like, oh, well, maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm supposed to keep it? I don't know. But I want to show you where the museum is. Again, I've talked about how I don't enjoy going to the museum, but right there is the museum. If you are at the center of the town, museum. I feel like an idiot saying all of this now, but here is the museum where you can donate things. Welcome, we have arrived at tip number 9. So right now I'm standing in the area where the Weedil shows up in the springtime, and hopefully I will put up a video or photos so you can see the Weedil and know what I'm talking about. But I want to talk about him because I was never able to beat the Weedil, and it was very frustrating, but I discovered that it is actually easier to beat than you realize, and just some misconceptions that I had when I was playing this part of the game. So when it says that you would like to get help, and you go find the 2 little girls who come jump rope with you, when it says that they're going to help you, they are not taking over for you, they are jumping with you. So you still have to jump with them. So if you suck, you're going to ruin it, which is why it's important that you know first. When it says jump on the screen, pay attention to that. Do not look at the jump rope. Pay 0 attention to the jump rope because it will mess you up. Just look where it says jump and follow that. Now, when those 2 girls are with you, what they are doing, they are giving you 3 times the amount of attack points so that you finish it sooner. I got frustrated when I first did it because I was like, what the heck? What is their purpose? Why are these girls even here? They're not helping me. They would have helped me if I had been good at jump roping. So just keep that in mind when the Weedil is there and you are using help, that they are giving you additional attack points. They are not going to do it for you. So here's to looking out next spring and hoping that I finally beat Weedil. Tip number 10. So if you're like me and you were on the farm and you were just plowing your little heart out and you accidentally hit a spot and you didn't know how to get rid of it, well, I'm going to show you how to get rid of it. You may already know, but if you're like me and you were dumb and you didn't know, in other games, typically you could use like the pickaxe. Pickaxe does not work here. So what do, Lindsey? Well, you left click to plow the ground. You right click to undo it. That's correct. You use the hoe for all of it. I hope that is actually super helpful because I was very frustrated trying to do that because it just was not working for me. And now my farm, way more pretty. Now, on to bonus tips. I hope you're ready. So the first bonus tip I have for you is fairly obvious, but hey, if you're gonna do a spell, which they're right here, if you're gonna do a spell, make sure that your cursor is actually in the area you want it to go towards. See? Oh, look at that. The rain is going towards my cursor. Now let's go ruin it. I want to go down, but I'm going to hit over this way. Oops, now the rain is going to the side instead of down. So, seriously, just make sure that your cursor is in the direction you want the spell to go. The final bonus tip that I have for you, I'm just going to show you this in a random area, but if you get stuck somewhere and you are about to die and you don't want to end up in the hospital and lose money, just exit the game. Super simple. Just hit exit. Now, the reason why this works on this game and it does not work on others is this game is constantly saving, so you will not lose progress. If I exit the game right now, as you see right here, we can go back in. It is going to put me back at the closest house. So we are back here. You can see the time. It didn't change because the game is constantly saving and I didn't lose any progress. And just to be clear, you're going to wake up in one of your houses, not just any house. So you'll wake up in whatever area you're in. So like if you exit out in Nelvari, you're going to wake up in your Nelvari house. I hope those tips and tricks help. And if you have anything that I didn't mention, please let me know in the comments because I'm always looking for help. Thanks for joining me, and I hope you will subscribe so you can catch my next video. See you next time. Peace!